Right, guys, so we move on to the next chart analysis. And throughout all this analysis, we are trying to include all of what we had learned before, of all the elements that we had learned, whichever we notice it, and we try to analyze according to the power analysis. We try to analyze according to the price trend analysis, and also we try to analyze according to Fibonacci analysis. All right. And in the next topic, we're trying to analyze a stock uh, called Alibaba Group. And this, all right, we will analyze. This is randomly, and this pattern are obvious, so you can see, and it's easy for us to analyze, and you can make good example in your chart analysis. All right. And first thing first, when you open a chart, all right, when first thing first, and you have to remember this, right? For example, like if your chart is in a daily chart, all right, so what you can see here is that in a normal chart, when you open a chart, you will be seeing a chart like this, all right, in the daily chart. So what you can see is that there is a lot of gaps. There's a lot of unclear patterns. All right, there's no continuation patterns. It is unclear, so it is very hard for us to make analysis on the stock. Right, for example, this Alibaba Group, right, it has no patterns. All right, it has no unclear patterns unless you have to make it a weekly chart. All right, make it a weekly chart. So um, this is something you don't want to see when you're doing analyze, right? This is not pretty a good stocks actually, but unless you open it in a weekly chart, you change it, you switch it to the weekly chart, you are able to see a very clear pattern, a very good pattern that the stock price of Alibaba Group is making progression, railing upwards. All right, so now we are start to analyzing because the trend are clearer, so we can do analyzing, we can analyze the stock. All right, so start from the left. So this is where the stock price from 2015, you can see that the initial IPO is in 2014. All right, so what you can do is that because the stock price dropping since the IPO to this middle of 2015, so what you can do is you have to pick up the most upper peak, so you connect it to the lowest peak just like usual. All right, just like usual, so you connect uh, all the lows and the highest. All right, all the lows and the highest. So drawing this price trend line is really crucial, really important, because all of our analysis depends on the accuracy of this plotting. All right, this plotting. So what we can see here is that we can see that before it going and reverse upward, you can see that the seller line become smaller in time. All right, and what I mean in time is that it takes several, maybe 1 year and a half or 2 years to see these results. But what I mean is you can see better and quicker results in other stock analysis charts or in other companies. But for this Alibaba Group, we could see that the seller become less aggressive uh, after about, I mean, at the retracement. All right, so it occurs in maybe 2 years of time frame. So whatever the result is, you want to try to see either the seller become less aggressive and vice versa, the buyer become more aggressive. Then that is the signal, a good signal for you to get into any companies. All right. And all right, so what you're trying to do is that you're trying to analyze these charts before it goes upward. You can see that in terms of power, all right, we can't do power analysis at this price, right? We can do power analysis at this price because we are, in terms of bullish markets, we need to start from the demand line and supply line number one, demand line and supply line number two. All right, so this is how we did our analysis. All right, and you can see that the demand line and supply line, you can see the supply line going back to the original price point of the demand line number one. All right, this is number one, this is number two. So after quite some time, all right, being at the bottom, so the price going up, railing, all right, railing, and it retraces far less if compared to the previous loop. All right, so what could we see here is that in terms of Fibonacci, all right, in terms of Fibonacci analysis, so you could also use power analysis, and in this chart analysis, it is obvious that this second loop, all right, have power upward, right, have power upward, and this is the single most important signs that we could retrieve from this chart analysis, that it has power upward. All right, now what you can do is you can draw a rectangular at this price point, right? And I will teach you on how to get entry to a stock later. And what you can do is you can do a rectangular to the highest point at this and enter when it's back out, and you are still considered to get entry at the retracement, because you are know now that the price is started to advance in upward movement. All right, so what you can see, the price trend of buyer become longer and the seller become less aggressive, the power have power up. So we could see that in terms of power analysis we are positive, in terms of price trend analysis we are positive. All right, in terms of Fibonacci analysis we are much very positive, right? So if you are getting into the trade, so you might want to see where is the Fibonacci target is, and it is 0.618 here, and after it hit its Fibonacci target 0.618, it looks like it's rallying crazily upward. All right, until from it's supposed to retrace a little bit on at 118, but the stocks are really great, it keep rallying until 183. If you are want to secure your profits, that you might want to take profits here, either full or partially. All right, it's all according to your own plan, right? But if you want to let your profit run, so this is the advantage of letting your profit run, where the stock price can go up until the sky is the limit. All right, so what you can do here is that you can analyze the stock price now. Is it either it's an opportunity for us to get into the trade. All right, so you can see the price trend is become longer. All right, the demand line become longer, and now we are come into the Fibonacci analysis. Right, you can see that the stock price retrace to 0.618, and you want to compare to these lines. So this is also at these lines also, it retraces until 0.618. It doesn't touch 0.618, and the same goes to this level. All right, it doesn't touch 0.618, and we can say that this the line, the buyer is still aggressive in the market. Right, it's still aggressive, and we see this as an opportunity for us to get into the trade. All right, so you can either buy here, you can either buy here, or you can either buy at the breakout. Right, so if you buy at the retracement, so that's mean you have a low risk and high potential reward because of the stock rebound at 0.618. All right, it rebound at 0.618. So what your next target is, you move this Fibonacci analysis to this price, to this new point, and you can see the new target is 222. Right, and this is an easy target. All right, this is an easy target. Right, it can goes again, repeating the same behavior before it can goes beyond to this point, but because it has been rallying quite for some time, but please make sure that it might not reaching this target, or if it reach its target, it might reverse downward, and you might want to take some profits and be careful throughout this line, because although the buyer is still aggressive in the market, but there are too much buyer, the market has to balance itself to seller. Okay, for quite some time it has to balance itself to seller. All right, because there is no such thing as a straight line upwards of stock market movement in a natural stock market movement. And I hope that from this analysis you will learn something, and you can see that this Alibaba Group is still, from what we see, from what we analyze, it has strong power upward. The power trend is still strong upward, and the buyer is still dominating the gameplay, and you might want to enter, and you might want to take advantage of the current situation. All right, I hope this analysis benefits you, and right, we will analyze more stocks in the future.